basically pretty much on all on all marijuana plays. I mean, it is what it is. You're down at these levels here. It's going to take. We've already talked about this. If you're holding on to some of these weed plays, it's just going to be news-based, and you're going to have to wait. And unfortunately, it's a plant that you get a little small seed and you plant it, and it grows the same product that everybody's selling. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time, I believe, anyways, until this industry has to somehow merge together. And I mean, it's just. You saw it already with Tilray and Afria, and I just think that if you're gonna look at CGC, I mean, it's a cascade to the downside with really nothing but air, and you're gonna have to wait. I mean, it just keeps getting deflated, and I can't even pick a level. Like, I think 18's a good spot to go long, and I don't have that much talk because we've already talked about this a lot on the show. That way you'll get that, but right now, I mean, if you can't bank federally, if you're in the cannabis space, it's going to be a hard time, right? So we're going to wait for that, and I think that's just what's required. And I mean, unfortunately, I think people thought that COVID was going to be a good thing. I mean, it was. They're selling more marijuana, and more people are at home. But the problem is that it's now not on the minds of the legislation, or I mean, that's here in Canada, but the regulators and things like that. There's so much more happening. So I haven't even heard anything from Kamala Harris. Is she even alive? Like, I don't, like, where are these people? They were the ones talking about marijuana and cannabis, right? And that's what sparked some of my interest. Well, I mean, we've been interested in this for a long time.
Sparked?
Oh, that was a good one. Sparked, yeah.
You didn't even know.
And I didn't even notice that. That was a good one, yeah. So we'll do that. But and until someone comes out and starts speaking positively about this, it's just going to be in the doldrums here. So I don't like the marijuana space until we hear more about it.
All right, let's get into what's moving around here, guys, in the pre-market. If you are still looking for the morning note, that is the link that you need to go to. All you need is an email address, absolutely free, to get our watch list, guys. Every single day it comes out just before we come on, about 8:30. You can expect that, again, absolutely free to you. Affirm. Let's talk about AFRM, the obvious strength this morning, both pre-market, as I mentioned, aftermarket yesterday as well. Huge move after a blowout report. Not much to talk about as far as negativity here. Smaller loss than expected. There was a share-related increase in the overall number on the loss side, but it was to be expected, guys.
Yeah, the revenue was a big monster beat for them. The only thing that would concern me about trading today is, you obviously had the Amazon news, which is probably even bigger than this. I think some of that, certainly is people are like, oh, I missed the boat on it. I want to pick up some shares here as well to get this run. The stock was 140s, 150s. And I think you have some obvious support, which is pretty solid for it, in the 100 level. And if that comes into play today, I think that's going to be an interesting buy on like maybe like a swing basis or something like that. But when I look at a chart like this, the first thing that comes to my mind is confirmation. Is there any confirmation of a top, right? And I think that's the first thing you look at. You post-market 115 level, and then pre-market you're looking at exactly the same thing. I mean, if you fail off this, it doesn't take much to get you back into like the 107, 108 range, and that's a pretty solid return off of what could be just an easy risk to reward. It also, obviously is going to set up for a 115 break if you like that as well. I love Affirm, but kind of like with Upstart, there were 2 days in a row off the top like this, double parabolic moves. And then you were just looking for that first little quick, like short retracement. The downside here is it doesn't really do a ton of volume. And the spread, at least, well, the spread's okay now, but the spread I was looking at a little bit earlier was a lot bigger. It was like a 30-cent spread right now. But I was looking at like 40, 50-cent spreads on a $100 stock, which is pretty big, which makes it tricky to try to work yourself into something without getting hit on the offer. And if it spikes and immediately fails through 115, I think there's going to be a tight stop shorting opportunity that gets you like a 112, 113 off the high, and then you're shooting for like 107, 108, just on the fact that this is up so tremendously, and not just from here. Don't just look at the gap from last night. Look at it from the Amazon story, and look at it from where this was a couple of weeks ago, and understand that that's why there could be some profit taking. I'm not doing any personally, but the first look I'm going to go for is that 930 rollover style trade, just because it sets up.
Yeah, look, I mean, we talked about Affirm yesterday, and it was a good call. It seems like the idea that we gave at 350 yesterday was a good one, and I'm seeing a lot of people that cashed in on that. So congratulations to anybody that went forward with that play. And I just said the same thing. The risk to reward was just better on the upside than it was on the downside. You know, I would have preferred to play it with options. I know it was a little bit late in the day to do that, but you know, you had this great support down here. We've already talked about the Amazon news, so not only that, you're building that, and then what I was talking about was the fact that they would guide higher, and that's exactly what they did. And now today you're getting that big bump up. I mean, we've seen this happen with Asana. Now, you know, remember ASAN, if you guys can remember it. And there's a few other ones. PayPal had a good report, was up and then got hit back down as well. The same thing with Asana, and now they're up to $100. So what I was getting at, and I don't know if I could find the day for you, it was a little while ago, but we dipped down before I think it was this day exactly. We dipped down here on earnings and then just ripped up the rest of the day, and then the very next day opened up higher and higher and higher and higher. So that's sort of what I see here for Affirm. There could be some profit taking here. There's a lot of people that probably cherry picked that. Oh no. Okay, AFRM, hopefully it comes back. I don't know if it's going to, but there's a lot of people that cherry picked that bottom, and not only that, but they just got long into that Amazon news. So if you're long into the Amazon news, you're probably long at 90, 91, 92-ish, somewhere around there, even 97, 98, it doesn't matter. But you're waking up today to see a 113 print. So I think there's gonna be some profit taking. So, you know, long story short, I do expect Affirm to pull back a little bit. I don't even want a 111 bid. I mean, I think there's gonna be movement to the downside. Anything around here, we had a pullback yesterday, and then it stopped about 107, 108, and then it took off again. So that's kind of the levels there. I mean, the very bottom would be 106. I think we'll park some bids down here around, and then if we get those, great. If not, then we can look back at it in about 5 or 10 minutes after open, and then we'll see it hopefully take out those tops of 115.
Let's get a check of the overall market here. As we said, back to the upside finally after I mean, it was a choppy week, let's be honest. Arun is here. Give us your thoughts, Arun. What are we looking at today?
All right, so there's something you got to keep in mind today. Last night, actually, yesterday evening, we had the rollover in the futures contract. We've gone from the September contract to the December contract as the front month. So Z21 is a new contract that everyone will be trading. Problem is, the first day, specifically Friday after the rollover, volume doesn't transfer over completely. So you have both contracts now trading. You have the September U21 contract and you have the December Z21 contract, both trading, and they're splitting the volume that from the market. Right now, I'm looking at the updates, and there's 186,000 contracts being traded in September and 165,000 as of up till now from last night on the December contract. So there's a difference of 20,000, which can easily be covered after the open. So I imagine the December contract is going to take majority of the volume after we get open, but that makes it that much more difficult because for anyone who's looking at volume to make decisions, it's hard now. Now, because you have two contracts trading simultaneously with a decent amount of volume on both of them. So me personally, I'm going to stay out of this market at least until the afternoon. I'm going to pull all levels that I've got, any levels I've talked about in the past. I'm taking them all down, and we're just going to let this trade, let it develop, and how it trades after the open, where it decides to hesitate, where it decides to declare levels. Using those points after the open, that's how I'm going to trade. I'm just going to work from what I see after the open. But going into the day, nothing is valid from the past few days, whatever the case. Any levels I've